Knowledge versus ignorance. In the fascinating theater of human cognition, an intriguing performance often unfolds, the paradoxical dance between knowledge and ignorance. On one hand, there is an innate thirst for knowledge, a lively curiosity that propels individuals to probe, question, and investigate. This intellectual ambition, when well tapped, gives birth to a fervor that relentlessly seeks to understand the intricacies of existence. Yet, in the same arena where this thirst exists, there lies an uncanny indifference to acquiring new knowledge, a lack of drive towards critical thinking and constructing a more robust, well-defined vision of the world and its creation. Seldom does one encounter individuals who harbor a universal interest, demonstrating curiosity across all spheres of knowledge. Without intending to boast, one can observe such holistic curiosity in authors, often reflected in the breadth of their writings. However, such individuals are anomalies. Most people tend to show interest in one or a few areas while remaining apathetic to others. This selective curiosity, interestingly enough, paints a vivid picture of our learning patterns, indicative of the ever-present gap between our craving for knowledge and our often complacent disposition towards ignorance. There are well-worn phrases which we often find ourselves tempted to repeat, yet again: knowledge is power, or its counterpoint, with great knowledge comes great sorrow. Not forgetting the famed Socratic declaration, I know that I know nothing. Complaints about younger generations have echoed across the ages, yet what warrants attention is how this old Socratic phrase has taken on a new twist in contemporary times: I know that I know nothing, and I wish to stay that way. This modern adaptation poses an uncomfortable truth about our approach to knowledge and ignorance. While humility in our understanding was once considered wisdom, as per Socrates, the modern iteration depicts a brazen dismissal of the pursuit of knowledge, reflecting a trend towards deliberate ignorance. This shift exposes a discrepancy in the societal value of knowledge, further fueling the dichotomy between knowledge and ignorance in our contemporary discourse. We must question, how did we pivot from a society that prided itself on the pursuit of knowledge to one where ignorance is not just bliss, but a choice? In the labyrinth of human cognition, deception finds fertile ground. This susceptibility stems not only from the inherently illusory and relative nature of our perceptions or the human predisposition to fall victim to manipulation. The most substantial contribution comes from a source less acknowledged: the vast, gaping gaps in knowledge prevalent even among those who consider themselves thinkers, even intellectuals. These blind spots in understanding span across diverse fields, from the sciences to the arts, from technology to philosophy, creating an invisible web of ignorance that often goes unaddressed. Despite our advancements, this lack of comprehensive knowledge exposes individuals to distorted realities and skewed perspectives. It emphasizes the importance of recognizing and filling these gaps in our understanding to resist the dangerous dance of deception, further highlighting the often overlooked, yet critical, discrepancy between knowledge and ignorance. An intriguing force that impedes the pursuit of knowledge throughout one's life is the education system, a machine that has witnessed little substantial evolution over the past centuries. At its most flawed, it transmutes into an ostentatious display, providing an illusion of enlightenment rather than facilitating genuine learning. Its essence has often boiled down to two extremes: a regimented imposition of education, where information is force-fed, or an extravagant spectacle, where knowledge is commodified for show rather than nurtured for understanding. Despite the sweeping tide of technological advancements and societal progression, it's startling to acknowledge our failure to master the art of teaching. Instead of cultivating an atmosphere that fosters curiosity and intellectual growth, we have, regrettably, bred a pervasive aversion towards the acquisition of genuine knowledge. The system, meant to enlighten and empower, inadvertently sows the seeds of disdain, thereby transforming what should be a lifelong quest for wisdom into a burdensome chore, resisted and resented. The human brain, an organ of exceptional energy expenditure, is a marvel of evolutionary frugality. It strives to conserve its resources, indulging in the process of learning only when something piques its interest. This interest, curiously, is stimulated by two distinct phenomena: something that provides an apparent, tangible benefit or a mystery that reveals gaps in our understanding. Filling these gaps triggers a rewarding biochemistry, an influx of pleasure hormones that delivers an almost gratifying sensation. Our education system, however, despite its vast potential and noble objectives, has largely failed to simulate this intrinsic process neither naturally, nor artificially. It struggles to bridge the chasm between knowledge delivery and eliciting genuine interest, between didactic instruction and the creation of those enticing gaps, the filling of which stimulates intellectual satisfaction. The missing link is an understanding of the brain's rewarding mechanism and how it might be tapped into to cultivate not just passive receptacles of information, but active seekers of knowledge. In bygone eras, the education system focused on instilling the basics: literacy, numeracy, a fundamental grasp of the world. But now, we find ourselves in a farcical scenario where years of formal education purport to imbue learners with knowledge of advanced mathematics and quantum physics. Despite this prolonged exposure, the evidence at hand paints a startling picture. Countless video testimonials on platforms like YouTube have revealed a glaring gap. Even university graduates, let alone high school or college attendees, often lack a clear understanding of the most elementary concepts. It's staggering to contemplate the archaic and possibly erroneous perceptions they might hold about the world. In striving to deliver a complex curriculum, it seems we are failing to adequately impart the foundational knowledge essential for understanding our world and our place in it. In this modern era, the sheer volume of knowledge amassed no longer represents a distinctive advantage. Information is ubiquitously accessible, available in various forms at our fingertips. What has grown significantly more vital is the capability and desire to obtain this knowledge, to sift through it analytically, to compare, and to apply critical thinking. These are the skills that separate the intellectually engaged from the passive consumers of information. Yet, this active engagement in learning is a trait demonstrated by a precious few. In a world that is inundated with data, those who can discern the wheat from the chaff, who can critically analyze information and construct coherent understanding from the available knowledge, are indeed rare. While knowledge may be commonplace, wisdom, the ability to utilize that knowledge effectively and critically, remains in short supply. To assert that knowledge, or even the ability to acquire and analyze it, is a cure-all for humanity would be a grave oversimplification. We have abundant examples of seemingly well-informed individuals making decidedly foolish and reckless actions or statements. The depth of a person's knowledge does not in itself serve as an absolute safeguard against imprudence. Despite their intellect, these individuals can be subjected to various forms of manipulation, oftentimes exploiting their very knowledge or their emotions as the basis for such manipulation. Despite our lofty self-perceptions, humanity remains an imperfect collection of beings in an indifferent, hostile world. Our pursuit of knowledge, as crucial as it may be, does not alleviate this fundamental reality. The dichotomy between knowledge and ignorance is not as clear-cut as it may appear. Wisdom isn't merely the absence of ignorance, but the nuanced understanding of its place within the grand tapestry of human experience. A recognition of our shared fallibility is as important as any fact learnt, a truth that anchors us in our ever-evolving understanding of the world. Yet, ignorance indeed stands as the greater of two evils. It paves a smooth, effortless road leading towards ruin, evocatively portrayed in the movie Idiocracy. This satirical comedy depicts a dystopian future where society's collective intelligence has dramatically decreased, making for a compelling cautionary tale. Amidst the humor and absurdity, the narrative's underlying warning is unmissable. Ignorance allowed to run rampant, bereft of the balancing influence of knowledge, could lead humanity down a perilous path. This tale, as disturbing as it is satirical, seems to be a narrative that humanity is perilously close to echoing. The movie, while exaggerated for comic effect, hints at an unnerving reality. The potential for our own present-day society to slip into a similar state of intellectual decline. Despite the disparity between our reality and the film's outlandish vision, the resonating cautionary note of unchecked ignorance should serve as a wake-up call. The understanding and promotion of knowledge becomes, thus, a pressing responsibility of each member of society, lest we risk recreating the dystopia portrayed on the screen. It becomes clear that the dichotomy between knowledge and ignorance is a complex and nuanced one. Neither knowledge alone, with its susceptibility to manipulation, nor ignorance, with its potential to lead humanity down a precipitous path, can independently define our society's trajectory. However, the balance decidedly tips towards valuing and promoting knowledge as a crucial tool for human progress, despite its inherent fallibilities. The exploration of these contrasting concepts elucidates that an interplay of knowledge and an acknowledgement of our shared ignorance is vital for a society's evolution. A keen awareness of this balance may protect us from the worst impacts of ignorance, while the humility to accept the limitations of our knowledge can prevent us from falling prey to arrogance and manipulation. Thus, fostering an environment where knowledge is cherished and ignorance is acknowledged but not celebrated could be the key to steering clear of the dystopian futures we fear. As we continue to navigate this delicate equilibrium, the reminders from cultural narratives like Idiocracy reinforce the urgent need to guard against complacency, championing the pursuit of knowledge as our shared responsibility.